Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am Ben. I'm about to head down to the NAMM Show for 2025. Super excited. This is my favorite time of year, surpassing Christmas and Thanksgiving. Love hanging out with family and friends during those holidays, of course, but you can do that any time of the year, really. NAMM Show happens once a year, and I love being there on the floor, just seeing all the gear and the equipment, all the new guitars and pedals and synthesizers, recording gear. It's just like being a kid in a candy store, or really more like a toy shop. It's just a awesome experience. This year's going to be a little bit different than it has in the past. There's a number of big time vendors that are coming back. Gibson, I believe Fender's going to be back. They took a couple years off. Interestingly enough, PRS is not back, but Paul Reed Smith himself will be there giving a speech, and also I believe his band is playing one of the nights. In addition, I believe the convention floor is only open for 3 days, whereas in the past I'm pretty sure I've gone for 4 days. And usually, it's a pretty tight schedule fitting everything I want to look at in those 4 days. So 3 days is going to be more of a rush around and just see what I can. So you really need to prioritize. And thankfully they have a really good app where you can search up every single vendor that's going to be there and kind of put a little star on it. And it makes a little, not quite itinerary, but it gives you a list of like, oh yeah, make sure you see this and this and this and this and this. And speaking of that, there are a couple things that I'm really looking forward to this year. If you've watched my channel before, you know I'm a really big fan of Godin guitars, and I'm really excited to check out their display this year. They've got a ton of new guitar releases. One thing I'm really excited about is the re-release of their Artisan series guitars. I mean, check these things out. They look beautiful. They've got flamed maple tops, all string through design. Love the humbucker in the neck for all of these. Really excited to check these guitars out, hoping that they play and sound as good as they look. Also really curious about the price. I'd say traditionally Godin has the most reasonable prices out of any North American guitar maker. So I'm hoping that the trend will stay with these as well, but only time will tell. Really excited to check out the Stylophone booth. Last year they had the Theremin and the drone synth on display. I'm surprised that those didn't get released sometime much earlier in 2024. I believe the Theremin just got released and the drone synth is finally up for pre-order right now. They'll have them again, I'm sure, this year, and I'm really excited to mess around with those also. I don't know why, I've just always had an interest in Stylophone and the little stylus with the metal tabs, and ever since I was a kid, it was just something fun to do, so looking forward to it again this year. Eastman Guitars is going to be displaying the new Fuller Tone series of guitars, which is a long neck tenon bolt-on guitar. Really curious to try those out, see how they play, see how they sound, does it affect the sustain. Here's what the back of the neck looks like. Pretty interesting, I think. Ibanez is going to have their 2025 lineup there. Really excited to play those. Always been a fan of Ibanez. I've never had one on the channel, but I've been debating getting a budget model, and this might be a good opportunity to give one of those a try and see which one I want to put here. So looking forward to that. I really want to play one of these G&L Comanche limited edition guitars. I've always been fascinated by these split single coil pickups. I don't know if they sound any different. I don't even know what the purpose of them is. I kind of want to give that a shot, see how it sounds. Ernie Ball's also going to be releasing some new budget-friendly Sterling guitars. I wanted to get one of those on the channel also, but I don't really know where to start with one. I don't really want to blind order one and check it out. As a side note, one of the best guitars I've ever played my entire life was a Ernie Ball Majesty guitar at the NAMM 2024 show. I took a photo of it actually right here. I just love the way this thing played. That's why I have the photo, so I can remember to buy this guitar someday. That would be just a guitar for me and not something I would review on my channel. Maybe I just need to ask the right questions to convince you to convince me to get one of those to review on this channel. I don't know. Check this thing out. This is a Martin double neck acoustic guitar. Really curious about if it's going to be available to play or if it's going to be behind glass or on display. I don't know. Gonna check that out. If I can get my hands on it, I definitely want to give it a shot. I've always liked Martins, never owned one, and this just seems like such a unique guitar for them to build. Yamaha's gonna have a couple new Pacifica guitars. They always play great, they're always built great. I don't know why more people don't play them. I think Rhett Shull had a video last year that was like, why don't people play Yamaha guitars? And at first I thought he was gonna give me a reason why people don't, but then I just misread the question mark on it, and I believe he was asking the same question. Why don't people play Yamaha guitars? I don't know. They're great guitars. Now here's one that's interesting. It's an idea that's been tried several times in the past and always failed. Venus Guitars is a new guitar that I believe is made by, or at least owned by, women, and the guitars are for women. They're pretty expensive. They're about $2,800, but they've got some interesting sets of features to them. Like, they're all lightweight. I believe it says they're all 6 pounds or under. They're all a little bit thinner neck profiles for smaller hands, as they say. And then you can customize some of the colors of like the pick guards and things like that. Now this idea was tried way back when the Gretsch Corvette came out, the Princess guitar. That didn't do very well. Again, it was tried by Gibson when they had the Goddess series of SGs and Les Pauls. That didn't do very well. So I'm really curious how it's going to do this time. Now, one thing that I do know is different is this is women marketing to women, whereas in the past it was men making decisions for women. So we'll see how the guitar does in the long run. I'm also curious if the guitar is just going to be a great player regardless. They look pretty cool. I do like the way that they look. And if anything, we know that if a guitar sounds good, plays good, looks good, really it's not going to stop a man or a woman from playing it. It's just a matter of the practicality of it. So if they can make a good product, I'm sure it'll be successful. Interestingly, right before I did this video, I saw that Gibson is releasing a commemorative edition NAMM 1955 Les Paul custom shop guitar. Retails for $6,500. They're making a limited run of 70 of each of the 5 different finishes. So what is that? 350 guitars total. These guitars have a chunky D profile 50s neck, Gibson custom P90s. I think it's a really cool and unique idea, but the thing that really bums me out about it is being a custom shop, it's just going to be so out of reach for so many people. But what they're essentially doing is recreating the 5 finishes of the Les Pauls that were on display at the 1955 NAMM Show 70 years ago. So this is the 70th anniversary commemorative NAMM edition. Those 5 finishes, in case you're curious, are Samoa Beige, Copper Iridescent, Nugget Gold, Platinum, and Viceroy Brown. And then also they're going to put a light Murphy Lab aging on these, or like a VOS finish, so they look a little worn. That's about the only Murphy Lab that I can tolerate. Anything more than that, and I'm not going to pay somebody to make my guitar look like it's got the crap beat out of it. I'll just drag it behind my car or something like that. There's a ton of new accessories that are coming out, new pedals from Donner, Walrus, Boss. Actually, speaking of Boss, they've got a new amp attenuator that's coming out. It's like the lesser version of a Pro model that they've already got out. It's kind of cool. It's only like $700, but I was a little bummed that they also lowered the wattage of it, so it can only take up to 100 watts. And why I'm bummed about that is I have this Groove Tube Solo 150 amp, and I've never been able to crank this thing up because it's so loud. It's 150 watts into a 15-inch speaker. I'm not kidding. When you get to like 1 or 1.5, it's so loud that in my apartment anyway, it's just, I would piss everyone off. So I've always wanted to attenuate that thing down and get those tubes screaming and really hear what it sounds like. And it looks like I can't do it with this thing, which actually brings me to my second point. If you guys have any attenuator recommendations and you know for a fact that they can support up to 150 watts, kind of budget friendly, but not a piece of junk, let me know, because I would love to really hear this amp the way it's supposed to sound. Going back to the pedals, there's one pedal there that I'm probably the most curious to see, but I also think it's the dumbest pedal I've ever seen, maybe besides that like meow cat pedal that came out a few years ago. This is the crowdfunded fart pedal. It's got knobs on there to select dry to moist. I don't know what it does other than maybe just make fart sounds. Really stupid, really curious about it. There's a ton of other stuff that's going to be at the NAMM Show that hasn't even been announced in the press yet. A ton of stuff that I haven't even looked over, or maybe I've missed it. A ton of synthesizers that I don't really talk about too much on this channel. A ton of recording gear and speakers, all that stuff. If it's anything cool, I might make a video for it like I did last year. I actually made a short at the end of NAMM last year. It was the Company Grip Guitar Best in Show Awards that I was awarding. And out of everything there, I think what won was a beer from Diodario, and it was like the end of, I think, Friday or Saturday. They were just giving out these cold beers that they had made, and it was the perfect thing at the end of a long day, or long couple days anyway, walking back and forth on the convention floor. So they won the award last year. I'll put a link for it here. It's a dumb video, but it was something fun to do. This year, maybe I'll make another one. I don't know. The Company Grip Best in Show 2025. We'll see what it is. It's not going to be the fart pedal, I'll tell you that much. A couple more things I want to talk about before I sign off here, pack up my car and head down there. I saw Maybach guitars pulled out of the NAMM Show due to sensitivity with the fires and stuff that happened here in Los Angeles, and they just didn't feel right celebrating the industry while the industry up here has been so affected by these fires. I mean, thousands of homes are gone. I know 7 people, maybe 8 people that lost their homes, and they either work in the music industry, television, or the film industry. So it's kind of impacted a huge swath of people from all walks of life in Los Angeles. I have a different perspective on it because I think being here in the eye of the storm, it's like I need the NAMM Show. I want to get away from all these fires and everything that's been going on. It's like a respite from the craziness that's been going on. And I think a lot of my friends, some of them which will be at the NAMM Show, have the similar perspective. But yeah, I commend Maybach for doing that, you know, to show sensitivity over profits, or potential profits anyway, is a rarity in this world, and that is super cool of them. My last order of business, what am I going to take to NAMM? Now, I'm not bringing a camera setup. I'm not planning on doing like interviews or, you know, in-depth footage of the equipment there. There's millions of people at NAMM that are going to be doing that. I mean, literally, you have to watch out because somebody is always like this on their phone, shooting something and uploading it straight to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever's trendy right now, and I don't need to do that. It's got enough coverage. I'm actually going so I can play the equipment, get to know it, maybe make some connections that are beneficial to me and the channel, or maybe I can do something that's beneficial to them. You never know. What I really mean is, what am I going to bring to my hotel room? Now, if you watched my end of the year video, I mentioned that I wanted to start playing my guitar pretty diligently at 20 to 30 minutes a day minimum, just practicing, as when I get busy, I tend to kind of blow that off. And so that's my New Year's resolution. I will report to you now that, what is it, the 23rd, I have successfully done it every day but one day. And that was, you know, the Chargers lost the playoffs that day, and I think I get a pass that day. I don't know, you guys let me know on that. But the guitar I'm going to bring, I decided is going to be this. This is an SG classic guitar. It's not too sentimental to me. I think it's a fantastic guitar, but this is one of the more recent SGs that I've purchased. It is probably the most affordable SG I have, so if something does happen to it, God forbid, I'm not really like stuck in the hole with that. And I just like the way it plays. You know, I really debated, should I bring this? Should I bring a Fender Aerodyne Strat? Or should I bring this Godin Telecaster copycat guitar that hasn't made its appearance on this channel yet? And after playing those all for about 45 minutes, I just can't beat an SG. I'm just so familiar with it. I love the sound of the P90s. Wasn't really a big fan of the sound of the Stratocaster Aerodyne. That'll be an episode for a different day. So this is the guitar I'm going to practice with. I don't plan on bringing it to the showroom floor. I don't really have a reason to do that. But something I am going to bring on the floor, which is different than any time I've gone in the past, is I'm going to bring a Fender Mustang Micro and a set of headphones. I don't know if it's going to be the earbuds or over-ear cans or what, but something I really want to start doing is just plugging that Micro into whatever guitar I pick up and maybe playing some backing tracks and really getting to play the guitar and see how it sounds. Because nowadays, you know, with these amps are so loud, they're everywhere. There's so many people at NAMM that it's like walking into a Guitar Center on a really busy Saturday. Somebody's playing a Mesa Boogie right there, and this guy's playing Carlos Santana on, you know, a Vox amp, and that guy over there is playing Tommy Emmanuel on an acoustic through some giant Celestion speaker. So I just want to try and isolate it a little bit better and really get to experience the pedals and guitars and whatever else I put my hands on. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to start packing, heading down there. You'll probably see something from me, whether it's a short or not. I don't mean to be so critical against all those people that are shooting something. I mean, after all, I did do my best in show video last year, so at the very least, I think you can expect that. And if you're watching this video, I appreciate it because there's so much media on the NAMM show that I really struggle to think, can I add anything to this conversation? But if you're here and you've made it this far into this video, certainly appreciate you taking the time to watch it. And I will talk to you guys next time.